Boom! Hey, how are you? I'm Thundercloud, washing away the garbage, leaving rainbows after rain. Everyone knows Mum calls me James. Tonight, let's have some fun in linguistic games here at the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame. Well, it's Chillin Tuesday, Poetcast here on the 30th of August 2022. Yeah, and I've put a bit of a call out there for donations of poetry books for our poetry library and archive. So I thought I'd show everyone a bit around this place before I start reading poetry to you tonight and what we do here. So here I am up on the stage, and over there we've got stairs and the musical instruments and the drum kit, and behind me we've got the screen, which I have to get ready for films which start soon for the Gyro Film Society in September. So if you're interested in joining the Gyro Film Society, come on down and find out a bit more information about that. That's one of the things that we do here. But here I am, and I'll turn around, I'll show the auditorium and point out a few things. So this place gets cleared out when we want to have gigs and stuff. And on a Saturday morning, we have a market here, and people get up here and do a bit of poetry, and we play a bit of music and stuff like that. And then over there, we've got our big mural where we do our Poetry Wednesday words during the summertime when it's warm. And way up there, see up there, that's the balcony. This place is the Arcadia Theatre, and it used to hold 800 people. Yeah, I've had nearly 300 people in here, or roundabout. So yeah, it's a kicking gig, and it's a great place. And up there as well, you've got the projection room. Now over here, see that wall over there? That's all poetry library and stuff. And through there, you've got the Poets Hall of Fame. Look, I'm going to go down and stop yabbering on up here and show you around a bit and get into some Chillin Tuesday poetry. Because that's what we're here for. We're here for the poetry, of course. And so, yeah, I've put a shout out there for donations of poetry books, which you can send to the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame or drop them off here, 144 Bradley Street, Gyra. And this is what we're doing with them. See, we got like the Banjo Patterson section, we got the Henry Lawson section, we got the bit down here that's got like Australian poets, like up to, what's that? Up to 1788 to 1888. Over here we've got some of the First Nations poets. We've got stuff here for sale. We've got some of Keith Garvey stuff. We've got Molly McNutt. We've got yours truly, Thundercloud. And down here we've got a whole lot more poetry journals that we're collecting, and children's poetry, international poetry, opera and stuff like that. Kids' books over there. So to preserve poetry and stuff. And in here we've got the Poets Hall of Fame, the Portrait Gallery and the Poster Gallery. And this is our females wall. We've got wonderful poets like Zora Cross, Lesbia Harford, Mary Gilmore. And then we've got the men. We've got some wonderful poets like A.D. Hope and Peter Porter, and the First Nations wall, which I'm working on with Udjuru, Colin Johnson, and the male poets wall as well. So that's what we do here. So people can come and visit, and if you want, you can listen to me up on the stage do poetry as well, because I'm doing that every day at the moment. About 2 o'clock, I get up there, give it a bit of practice, because practice makes perfect, and I need to practice poetry so that I can put on a show. And that's how I do it. I put on a show and I practice while I'm putting on a show. So here we are in Seahorse Medicine Cafe, ready for tonight's Chillin Tuesday Poetry Night. Put the camera down there, face it down, and grab a chair somewhere over there, and I've got my books ready on the table, ready to go. Now, I am in a dressing gown. Why? Because it's cold? No, just for effect. It's Chillin Tuesday. Phil. Yeah, anyway, whatever. So let's begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we broadcast from, the Kamilaroi people, and acknowledge the continuing connection to the land of the elders past, present and emerging, and acknowledge that sovereignty has never been ceded. Right, we've got a couple of events coming up. We've got in October, there is on the 7th of October, the big, hairy bush dance band are coming. And we're going to have a shindig out there in that hall. So you can get your tickets online at Eventbrite. Just look up the big, hairy bush dance band. And also check out our webpage, australianpoetryhallofame.com.au. It's on the events down there and also on the Facebook page as well. And then, so that's the 7th of October, 6 to 9. Tickets are $15 for adults, is it 10 for kids, 40 for a family. And then on Sunday, the 9th of October, big event, the Poets Breakfast, and special guest, all the way from the Tweed Valley, old Paddy on the Tweed, Paddy O'Brien, yes. He is a very funny man. And I met him up there in Nimbin when I was living up there in Nimbin. And he has, what is he? He's in his 70s. He's worked down here in Gyra in the 1960s. So he's actually got a bit of a fondness for Gyra. But the kicker is, because he dropped in here one day on his way, he was going down from where he lives up near Yukai, Mount Burrow Way. He was going out to Tamworth for a poetry thing. And he stopped in Gyra this Saturday morning, and it happened to be the day the market was on. And he was like, oh, well, what's going on here? And I said, how you going? And he knew me, and I knew him, and what. And so he got up on the stage, did a bit of poetry, but then the kicker is that when he worked in Gyra in the 60s, he actually came to this place as a cinema. So amazing. And now in 2022, he's come back as the bush poet, special guest for the Poets Breakfast at here on the Gyra Trout Fest on the 9th. And tonight, I'm going to start off by reading some of his poetry out of this book, Old Paddy on the Tweed, by Paddy O'Brien, and particularly the stuff that he wrote about when he was here in Gyra. All right, so I've just got to find that now, so here we go. Visitor from the Tweed. Now he wrote this on the 25th of November 1999, but it was about the 1960s, 1965. So if you're from Gyra, listen carefully. I met Herb and Dot Williamson back in 1965. I was 18 at that time. That was the year my father died. I knocked on their door up in Lackey Street. My clothes were worn. A patch needed on my pants. No shoes upon my feet. With only 2 pubs, Gyra, a town friendly and small, I asked Herb for a job picking spuds. I stood there, lean and tall. Herb told me of some other growers, Starr, Simpson, others I've long forgot. He said he had his team to pick his 80-acre crop. As I left his house, he noticed my clothes worn and torn. A frown upon his solemn face showed that he was quite concerned. He called me back then, said, you can start on Monday. Past Ward's mistake on Snowflake, you can pitch your tent there on Sunday. Picking wasn't easy that year, low tonnage because of the drought. Flies could carry you away. Herb offered us more money to try and help us out. Gordon Williamson dug the Sebagos and then bags now laid in a row. 10 to a land, Lenny Stanley said. That's the way to go. Although the frosts were bitter, some years it even snowed. Backache, part of the job, as the Ford 500 arrived for its daily load. When the seasonal picking finished, to the pub we'd make our way to celebrate the end of another harvest and collect our well-earned pay. My life associated with the Williamsons I'll never forget. I was treated like part of the family, many a friend I made and met. As we shook each other's hands and said our last goodbyes, Jim, Joe, Lenny, Duncan and all the crew told jokes and made up a few good lies. I'll see you again, Paddy, at the pearly gates, jokingly Herb did shout. St. Peter will be there, I bet, handing hot buttered potatoes out. There you go. And here we go. There's actually a picture here of Paddy O'Brien picking spuds. There he is. Can you see that? Loading them up. Cool, eh? Give it a bit of context. And the next poem, written on the 9th of December 2000, is called Gyra Spuds. Spud picking in the 60s, seasonal work was a way of life. I learnt to save my money. No family, no thought for a wife. There were pickers here from everywhere. Big George came from the south, Ricardo and Clancy somewhere up north. Them days we surely got about. I came from the Tweed like a lot of other blokes we'd met at the pub for a good old yarn. That's where we learnt most of our jokes. Spud picking was a hard old game. We worked then in bare feet. We made our camp beside a gully, our nearest neighbours, a flock of sheep. We set our galley near a waterhole. There we washed and cooked our meals. The sun set low and chilly, shadows creeping across potato fields. Gordon put on the camp oven. The galley fire started to glow. Kevin Looker turned the tilly lantern up. Coffee cup and plates there in a tidy row. Spuds always with our main meal, lamb chops, snake or stags. We'd sit around the galley fire on a log covered with one of Williamson's bags. Now, the quietness of the night, except for the call from an owl, whoo, maybe a flock of ducks flying overhead or a possum just going about. And so the campfire died now, cold the tilly lantern long turned out. A few snores from the old weathered tent. No street lights or cars about. Yep, another day in the boiling hot sun. Can't wait till we get back to our tent. We all live like millionaires out here. Not like those city park mugs. They're all paying rent. Alright, and there we go. Here's another picture of them. There we go. It'll be Paddy O'Brien and his camp when he was spud picking in the 60s. Again, pretty cool. Here we go. This one's spud picker's suit. McGarity was a spud picker. He surely wasn't one of the best, but he was in the patch every day. On a weekend he did rest. He cut cane in Broadwater in the district of Ballina Shire. He was thin as a whippet, his arms strained like barbed wire. Picking for Kavanagh and Gibson, I met him at North Dorrigo first. Then he would make his way to Gyra past Deervale, where he'd often stop and quench his thirst. He never drove a vehicle and he travelled mighty light. A few clothes packed in an old spud bag beside the waterhole he slept every night. The campfire you'd see glowing, a figure ever so lean, he'd wash and he'd eat well, barefoot. McGarity was awfully clean. Then one day as the winter set in, I met him in the Ebor pub, shaved clean and up-reeled well, in a suit that fit like a glove. I smiled as I greeted him. To see him, I said, was glad. Where'd you get that suit, McGarity? His arms, head, body protruding from an old spud bag. Oh, I get one every year up here with a pair of scissors. I cut holes for me head and my arms. All I do then is needle and tuck. I don't have to cut a hole for my body. I pull the spud bag over like this. As he went through the motions of dressing, McGarity gave the fashion world a new twist. Ben Lomond spuds. On the northern tablelands of New South Wales, there's spuds that grow as big as pumpkins, where the mist rises up to the mountains like the seas from the great Atlantic Ocean. I tell you, it was February 1965 when I ventured there for spud picking. Herb Williamson said to meet him at Ben Lomond where he was digging. And I found that things were tough in the black soils of Ben Lomond, where the Bolivian mountain joined the Mitchell River and the wild horses are roaming. Those men from Ben Lomond I met like Lenny Stanley and Kevin Looker. Hands as big as tractor wheels, their breath as hard as a well-lit cooker. One day when the tractor broke down and they dug the spuds with their hands and drank whiskey all afternoon and swore, "Ain't life grand?" And if the lassie's that you're courting and she's sitting on your knee, her cuddles so warm and loving, her kisses sweet as the ripe blackberry, well, then your intentions be for marry. Nervous as you leave from Llangollen or Gyra, you can hardly hold your horse's reins as your hands, they're all perspiring. For their fathers so big and strong flex their muscles when you arrive, you'll clear your throat and yell, "I'm here looking for a wife!" And if you're not misinterpreted, he'll know what you mean. You came to court his daughter, as pretty as you ever seen. And that's the way they are up there, those tough folk from Ben Lomond, where spuds grow as big as pumpkins and the wild horses there are roaming. All right, so Paddy O'Brien's coming in. Now he's got some really funny stuff. So like the one like where, oh right, look, you have to hear him, where they get stoned in the old people's home because they ate a cake with marijuana in it. That's funny. All right, now what else happens? So this is Paddy's book. Paddy's coming here, 9th of October. Tonight, Chillin Tuesday. I'm not really chilling, I'm standing up, aren't I? I could sit down and chill a bit, which I might just do. Pop the camera down. Hello, viewer. We got one whole viewer watching. Hello. Give us a thumbs up or a love heart if you're watching. Whoever you are, write a comment, please. That would be really, really appreciated. Excuse me, just focus that over there. I'll pop that right in the middle. And here we go. So now some of the books that I get here at the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame are quite unusual and a lot of poetry never had like a lot of printings, a lot of run. Like it's not a big genre. Like a lot of poets don't sell like 20, 30,000 books or stuff, like 5,000, 500, that kind of stuff. So that's why it's really important to preserve poetry, because there's not much of it out there. Like some of these books. Okay, Karagi, Stories and Poems of Wyong, Shire, New South Wales, by Bert Shackleton. Now, there's not a lot in the interweb about Bert Shackleton. In fact, I couldn't even find a photo of him. And I believe he was born in 1916 and he died in 2005, and he published 2 books of poetry, this one, Karagi, and another one which I can't remember off the top of my head. Now, this was published in 1980, just after he retired, so that would be 25 years before he passed away. So, all right, Karagi. And this is written for his children and their children. And Karagi was the name given by Aboriginals to the shelf of rock that situated on the south side of the channel entrance to Tuggerah Lake, meaning to join or enter in between two waters. Nothing now but sea wind sound on what once was a sacred ground where slow the ocean rolls around. Rocks where screech of gulls cry echoed centuries ago neath skies untroubled when once strong ties of Aboriginal people were at one with Karagi's rituals in the sun, where deeps meet shallows to run, silently and serene as their lives ran ere hove the hull that hives, to spare within it the gentle wives. The tribe kings knew, but we know, little of their secrets where tides go, endlessly there to ebb and flow. Whispers faint of no familiar kind, weird tappings on a windering wind, though nothing else that I could find. Of old Karagi's haunting past, only distance beautiful and vast beyond the range of creed or caste. I'm reading Bert Shackleton's Karagi. Next one, Blue Garment Island, Orange Blossom. It's timber that stands as it did of old, tall, straight and green, though in places it's gold. As an artist would fill where the colours were faint and the mountains are lush and pleasantly quaint, yet the seasons roll on and the calendar fills, but Urimba lies quiet at the foot of the hills. Bangalow Creek, Wyong, Shire. Ripples of wind on water, a falling leaf, a bud, tree, rock, or creek music. The almost inaudible plop of a berry dropped through clear air from a bird in flight into sandy shallows of creek water. Colours of bright pebbles where sun touches cool depths, clouds shadow on stubble, bush whispers from nowhere, and spear marks in ageless weathered rock. These things, food to a solitary man where his life has little meaning without them to ponder. I, part of the created whole, not separate or left to roam, alien cities made with hands, claim the right to turn away from a world living for itself, alone in grim atomic loneliness. None but wild things see me come, here, none to challenge as I go. Wyong. Wyong. It hasn't changed, she said, waiting to cross over the highway. Lack of ambition renders it dead. To change in the days of the dray, the smithy, the chaff and the corn, store the sawyers are, they were. Salad days for Wyong, it's worn. The years like tattered fur, since the teamsters, the logger, the mills gave us men and the good years galore. This town's pulse was in the hills. Around here, what's in store? For her now, she clutched at her hat as the lights went green. So that was that. Fruit bats. They come at dusk in silent groups, winging eerily on set courses into the gathering gloom like troops, straggling or homebound horses. Plodding against the fading day, soaring not as birds in sunlight, soar where none so beautiful as they can fill me with desire for flight. But phantom creatures from dim caves, devoured of sound or song or cry, squadron flights that come in waves black against the darkening sky. They'll return before the morrow, gorged on midnight raids of violence. Now they're gone. I sense a sorrow in the night wind and the silence. I'm reading from Karagi, Stories and Poems of Wyong, Shire, New South Wales by Bert Shackleton. This is humidity. The heat blankets the forests. A breeze disturbs the trees. She-oaks sigh their relief. The creek murmurs its approval. I in my weakness lie face up in the forest molden moss, feet tasting the stream's coolness, blood fighting at the pulse, humidity hammering its demand angrily at my life's temple, unremittent all summer long. Yeah, well, we don't get that in Gyro. No, I think I'll be chilling on a Tuesday all year. Yeah. But, if I go to Queensland, I'm sure it's humid in summer. Probably humid today with all this rain around. I'm just finding what I want to read here. My next little thing. I've got to be careful with these old books because I really should be more careful with them. Here we go, a bit of history, the wreck of the Kiama. Coffin ships and cockle shells tramp the ocean far. Across the waves, disaster bells a sailor's epitaph. I watch her die that day on the cliff, from where I stood and felt as if the surging seas and fate had played a trick on these brave souls I prayed. For all 12 men, and yet I knew tragedy lurked for Kiama's crew. A desperate call to the silent crowd came faintly in through the misty shroud for help. 'Twas hope remote, for time had come to lower the boat. In the boiling sea and flying spray, I watched men die in the surf that day. Now the entrance dreams neath the skies of brass, and all seems fair by the weather glass, for storms have gone, and the surf sings low, and the cliff birds slant, where the undertow drags grimly down to the depths where lay the wreck I saw from the cliff that day. Ships the world forever wander, souls to perish, souls to save. Do they rest in peace? I wonder, ocean's timeless, restless grave. Right, okay, sad. Killarney Vale School. On the fringes of their leaning I stood today with youth, a whole generation yearning for knowledge and for truth. Restless in their own striving for to learn and not condemn, our guidance yet though driving home to us our debt to them. Oh, that one these should die before the truth's bright arrival, with their hands full shall lie, crucibles of our survival. Why should there be one accepted year of the child in an age of bomb and gun they can teach us? Puts it mild. So there you go. We've got one more here that I've chosen from Bert Shackleton. And then I'm going to read out a little bit of information that I've managed to find online. Here we are. It's the last poem of the book, Father's Day. And hello to my sons, Clay, Luca, Sasha. Lots of love from Dad. Dawn has brought a golden day and the house is quiet. But my bed, the sun's first ray has ushered out the night. I shed all thought, my God forbids this special day for Dad, for I possess the grandest kids a father ever had. Down the years, in step and stairs as they were growing up, the love of Dad was always theirs, it's still brimming his cup. To see one fall, to her to toe, come running to my side, for me to dry each tear of woe, could fill my heart with pride. How those happy years have flown that knew such joy and pain, yet if that power was mine to own, I'd have them back again, to tuck each safely into bed, to kiss each rosy cheek. Meant more to me when all is said than I could ever speak. But somehow in those later days, they're not as once they were. I'm troubled in the stranger's ways, a sort of unknown fear. It's not confined to me alone, for multitudes discern. It's those who follow and are prone that causes my concern. They know now what life's about. They know life can be hard. Today I think I'll hear the shout of grandkids in my yard. Perhaps I'll lie abed in style. But first I've got to say, to me, each day and all the while, it's always Father's Day. Oh, how lovely. All right, so Bert Shackleton and Karagi. So if anyone can, now I'm going to read out to you from the interweb about Bert Shackleton, what I could find out about him, because it's always interesting to find out about these different poets. All right. So he also wrote a book called Cattle Bells, Bush Poems, Wyong, Shire, Herbert Bert Shackleton, published in 1976. It was a limited edition of 500 copies. So yes, I am finding this from the National Library of Australia catalogue here. Now also abebooks.co, do they have a copy of it from? Yeah, it's like, it's available there. Now I wanted to read out about him. Here we are, Bert Shackleton. Here he is. Bert Shackleton, what does it say? He published poetry. That's it. 6 works, born in 1916, died in the 13th of September 2005, Shelley Beach, New South Wales, gender male. So collected writings 1948 to 1988, Bert Shackleton, Wyong Shire Council. Hills of Home, Stories and Poems of Wyong Shire. Karagi, Stories and Poems of Wyong Shire. Shavings, Folk Stories and Bush Poetry of Wyong Shire. Cattle Bells, Bush Poetries, Wyong, Shire, and Scullers, which 1950 was published in the Bulletin in 1950. I love to row a good hard race should the thing be lost or won. 1950, so that appeared in the Bulletin. Alright, so that's actually really all I can find about him online, honestly. So, if anyone knows Bert or his family or has some information and they'd like to share it with the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame, that would be really appreciated. Alright? Now, hey, so funny things happen to me here. All kinds of weird stuff. But anyway, I'm not going to go into that because I'm here to do poetry for you. And I'm going to read a random one because one of the series of books that I'm collecting at the moment for our Poetry Library and Archive are the Kardoorair poets. Now, Kardoorair Publishers were started in 1983 in Armidale, and I think they were wound up in the late 90s. But the publishers are still around. Anthony Bennett, Tony Bennett. Anyway, this is their book 4. I've got about, 16 of them, 14, 15, 16 of their books. They did about 30 plus books over the time. So, limited edition. I Need No Epitaph by Gregory B. Shortus. I need no epitaph. But if you need one for me, put something like this on the stone. He made suggestions. We gave him a hearing. That way we'll all be honoured. New Year's Eve 1980. Sitting in Tat's hotel with poet Burns, who, having premonitions of death, had commissioned me to write his biography, given me a list of some 20 names, and written his own epitaph by 4 o'clock. At 5 o'clock he was still alive, as I advised him to cut down smoking and take massive doses of ascorbic acid. Okay. Here we go. Some of Tony Bennett's, okay. Excursions in the northeast. 1. Grey drizzle. Stone walls fallen and the ancient castle perched watches the human prey. Lapping waves, wood piers rotted and the anchor chain, rusted manacles which leave the soul to be flushed in returning tides. 2. February day, clear sky, cold wind, cuts at the window screen. 2 boys leap the grassy sand slope, anoraks cover faces, gloves to sensitise fingers. They move from each hole-poked knoll, the castle, thick-stoned, internally divided, stands sharp. 3. Welsh voices echo down Princess Street. Victory complete. Scotland's first line of defeated, and notes drift from old imaginings. Spirits whisper of renewed campaigns against the south. The gun is silent. It points cold and stiff, pricking the gap in the castle wall. Cancerous moss straddles the priming tool, accelerating the need for a rub. Down the Royal Mile after the game, a supporter relieved his delight on the doorpost of Mad Knox's house. Under the shadow of the castle wall, several youthful cannon were shot, a conqueror's release between soft Scots thigh. 4. Moving between rows, pleasant hang, their necks stretched, eyes limped and unseeing of the thighs poured into fitted jeans. Fruit, mellow, squash, grape and ripe melon fill the counter between displays of tender, local and imported meat, cut naturally or bagged in plastic, which refuses the smell and suggests aged pleasure. And that was Anthony J. Bennett, Excursions in the Northeast, from The Moon-Filled Urge, which is an anthology edited by Michael Sharkey and Anthony Bennett. Here's one from Bruce Penn. Loneliness. He visits Echo Point for conversation. Inflation eyes as mad as a $16 watch. I must be mad. Even my letters arrive in padded bags. Loneliness by Bruce Penn. More Bruce Penn. Us. You talk of mountains. I stumble in the foothills. There is a valley between our pillows. Wind. A pack of sheets of roofing iron peeled off and dealt all over town. White cat plays piano on the corrugated roof. A white face fogs the window. Froth of red around the whiskers, rabbit entrails stretching across the laundry floor. Me. It was me. I caused your nose to run and your clothes to shrink. It was me who filled your belly with squirming legs and bunched up punching puny fists. That was me. I stretched your skin and left elastic scars. It was me sitting on your bladder. I made your back ache and your breasts swell and drop. It was you who screamed in lonely pain. It was you who thrust my head into the painful glare of the theatre of the world. It was me. I yelled and yelled. That's cool. I like that one. Really, really do. I just like the whole idea of it. Like the baby saying, it was me. I'm the one who stretched your skin. Oh, come on. You want to hear it again? Me. I'm going to do it again by Bruce Penn. Me. It was me. I caused your nose to run and your clothes to shrink. It was me who filled your belly with squirming legs and bunched up puny fists. That was me. I stretched your skin and left elastic scars. It was me sitting on your bladder. I made your back ache and your breasts swell and droop. It was you who screamed in lonely pain. It was you who thrust my head into the painful glare of the theatre of the world. It was me. I yelled and yelled. I like how the second reading was much better because I had more feeling and I knew what I was reading about. Yeah. All right. Okay, well, look, I'm nearly at the end of the show tonight. But before we do, got this old poetry sort of diary journal of mine, genuine, that I've been mucking about with for about, 3-4 years. I've got stuff backdated in here. Anyway, there's some stuff in here that I thought I'll read out to you. I'll just find something random, in fact, because it doesn't actually get read out that much. A fairy wren with your head of blue, you only ever sing what's true. Lovely little fairy wren, I love you, my blue-head friend. Well, that was written on the 26th of June 2022, but on the other page, see, I drew this picture of a fairy wren, and that was drawn in 2019. The rise of the rainbow lorikeet. Rainbow lorikeet's often heard because it's Australia's most common backyard bird. The rainbow lorikeet love to sing and play, and it says, "Colours coming and colours here stay." And there it is. The rainbow lorikeet. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? Beautiful. That's a rainbow lorikeet sound. Whatever, Thundercloud. I love rainbows! Woo! Alright, now, have I got some new poetry for you? Dolphins swim and dive in seas, dolphins in the wave is free. Dolphin jumps and plays in waves, dolphins enjoy life every day. The mother of ducks lagoon. The lagoon is the mother of ducks, providing, as all good mothers do, an abundance of nurturance, a nesting place, a feeding place, a resting place, a growing place, a swimming place, a flying place, a coming and a going, but a homely kind of place. The mother of ducks lagoon. Written by yours truly. What have I got for you? I've got something that I've written that is new. I've just got to find it and I will share it with you. It's very, very, very true. Woohoo! Alright. Well, I just got to find it, you know. It's in here somewhere. That was a really long one. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, well. Since I haven't got a fairy wren, I can't even find it for you. Who knows where it got to? Here it is. Written Monday night, this one. Well, actually, the last bit was written on Monday, and then there's a bit in blue before that, and then there's a bit that was written before that, so I've probably written this in 3 bits. It's pretty rare for me. And so that probably will be pretty boring or weird or whatever. Who knows? I don't know. I'm going to read it out loud anyway. It's about Bill. There once was a man and his name was Bill. He lived alone in a tent at the top of a hill. Bill never got a chill and never felt ill until Bill on the hill got a chill and felt ill. Bill fell ill with a chill on the hill but didn't take a pill and went to the mill. Met Dr. Phil, who said nil to Bill. Bill and Dr. Phil met in a mill. Dr. Phil said nil to ill Bill, who wouldn't take a pill and wasn't feeling brill. Okay. Once was a man and his name was Bill. He lived alone in a tent at the top of a hill. Bill never got a chill and never felt ill until Bill on the hill got a chill and felt ill. Bill fell ill with a chill on the hill but didn't take a pill and went to the mill. Met Dr. Phil, who said nil to Bill. Bill and Dr. Phil met in a mill. Dr. Phil said nil to ill Bill, who wouldn't take a pill and wasn't feeling brill. Yes, that's right. Exactly. I found it at last. Okay. And then, of course, Thundercloud always has something online that he's written for you. So, to finish off the night, I'll finish off with a little bit of my own stuff here. When I find it, which it shouldn't take me that long because I'm... Oh, well, here we go. We go... Here he is, this funny old man. Now, this one was written about 3 hours ago. It's a quatrain, and it's called Cho, C-H-O, hyphen, Zen. It's a choice about how you react. Here we go. The world can make you laugh, or the world can make you cry. Feed you and nurture you, the world can make you die. You can be a boy, girl, man, woman, other, cat, monkey, hen. Do you let the world affect you or wash over you? Be zen. Repeat that for you. The world can make you laugh, or the world can make you cry. Feed you and nurture you, the world can make you die. You can be a boy, girl, man, woman, other, cat, monkey, hen. Do you let the world affect you or wash over you? Be zen. Be zen. I like that one. I like it. Yes, it's a download. I don't know where this stuff comes from, but it comes from just out of mind, out of my mind, out of my mind. Everything's mind, isn't it? I don't mind. Here we go. This is about someone. There once was a really skinny old man who lived off the smell of a lick of a jam. Do you want to know what he said? Without the smell of a lick of jam, I'd be dead. Along came a really, really large old lady who ate donkey balls with jam and lots of gravy, chocolate, ice cream and lots of sugar, and when there was no food she'd eat a booger. She saw the old man had a jam can. She introduced herself. My name's Pam. Can I please have a taste of your jam? No, but you can have a sniff, said the old man. He gave Pam a really big sniff. Pam breathed in and had a really, really big whiff. It smells so filling and delicious, Pam said. Oh, if I keep eating so much, I'm going to be dead. She quit eating donkey balls with gravy and jam, now only sniffs the jam cam, and she's skinny, Pam. Because she met a skinny man, she was in luck. They both are like rabbits, and they have a truck which they converted into an RV. Now they live off the grid, travelling freely. There was a really, really skinny old man. He had a skinny girlfriend named Skinny Pam. They lived off the smell of a lick of jam. And the skinny old man's name wasn't Sam. It was James. Ah! No. Okay, alright, whatever. Alright, maybe it was Sam, who knows? It was Jam Sandwich. It was Jam Sam. If you just like put James backwards, Samage. Jam, Samage. Just be like sandwich, yeah. Anyway, moving right along. Oh. So this is what happened when I went for a ride on my trike to go and get the market signs. And every Saturday here at the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame, we have the Gyra Farmers and Craft Market with stuff from 8:30 to 12:30. Get in and check it out. Right. This is what happened when I went for a ride on my trike. Oh my God, it was just like crazy. This mad stuff happens to me sometimes. I went for a ride on my trike tonight. Oh, there were so many different animals in flight. Oh my goodness. And I just got hit by a low-flying duck. Next thing I knew, yes, it's true, I got hit by a flying goose too. And after that, I thought they were all gone when I rode into a flying black swan. At the last moment, from the corner of my eye, I ducked as along came a magpie. Next thing, well, I don't know how, I got hit by a swooping cow. Things got crazy and rather big when I got hit by a flying pregnant pig, then a flying hippopotamus and a flying rhinoceros. The rain fell down and washed away the lot of us. From the sky fell a million green frogs. And after that it was raining cats and dogs. Animals were raining everywhere, falling from the sky into my hair. An idea flashed. I knew what to do. I put up a fence and I built a zoo. You're welcome to visit if you like. I'll take you for a tour on my trike. But please be very careful in my zoo, not to tread in the elephant poo. One last thing, bring a raincoat. It doesn't swoop, but there's a pissing flying goat. Boom, boom. Okay, yeah, you can laugh. Okay, give it a thumbs up, give it a laughy thing, one of those funny facey things. Come on, make a comment on Facebook. Share it, just hit the share button. Do that now for me while you're watching. Yeah, just click on share and then I'll read you another poem. All right. Positive or negative, what you gonna be? Healthless, joyous, successful, love, peace and harmony. Strong, wealthy, courageous, poised, living creatively. Attitude decides if you live positively or negatively. Think of self and trouble grows. Think of source and trouble goes. Another little quick one. Yeah. Strength of character. Say no. Contrary to the crowd, against the flow, being flexible, adaptable, navigate the bend, finish what you began through to the end. Strength of character, sing your own song, knowing when to stop, admit when you're wrong. Don't involve yourself in trouble or strife, be an individual and live your own life. Strength of character, a positive attitude, not emotionally affected, having gratitude, living in the now, not someone else's then, letting go of how and create your own zen. Strength of character, being on your own, enjoying your own company, being silent or alone, being trusting in the universe, humility, transcendence. The weak see strength as perverse, strength as temperance. Yeah, that last two lines is like it's just a bit too long. But anyway, I'll read it out again. Strength of character, being on your own, enjoying your own company, being silent all alone, trusting in the universe, humility, transcendence. The weak see strength as perverse, strength as temperance. They're trying to rhyme with like universe, perverse, transcendence, temperance. It was not easy, you know. Alright, I got one more for you. And then, whoa, yeah, 3 days ago, this is about Babbed and Jacked. Oh, this is a funny one. Alright. It's nonsense, actually. It's garbage. This is garbage, alright? Babbed and Jacked. That's their name. Babbed had green hair and Jacked had blue. Listen close, my story's complicated, but not true. The water in the river had fully dried up too when a finch in a fig tree ate a flying kangaroo. Babbed ran up a mountain to breathe the mountain air. The rarefied atmosphere changed the colour of her hair. And when she came back down, she couldn't remember where she'd been or the previous colour of her hair. Her hair was not green because it had been blacked. The problem was she wasn't recognised by Jacked. She said, "Jacked, it's me, Babbed. Are you cracked?" He replied, "You might be Babbed, but I'm not Jacked." The finch in the fig tree winked and gave a whistle, burped up the kangaroo and then burped up a thistle. Babbed got a pen and paper and wrote an epistle of the piddle of the finch, its whistle and the thistle. Along came a man wearing a pink leather thong who asked, "Are you Babbed? Is this where I belong? You've been long gone, I wrote for you a funny song, but now Babbed your hair is black, it's also growing long." A man named Jack had hair that was blue. I told you at the start this story isn't true. I didn't even write it on the toilet doing a poo, but I did write it just to give a laugh to all of you. Okay. Alright. So it's weird. Okay, and look, really, I think that's about all I've got for you except a joke. Like, I sleep better naked. I just can't understand why the policeman that woke me up on a park bench can't understand this. Boom, boom. All right. Okay, well, thank you very much for joining us here tonight on Chillin Tuesday from the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame, here in the Seahorse Medicine Cafe, and having a little tour out there through the Poets Hall of Fame and the Poetry Library. Look, I'm Thundercloud, Mum calls me James, washing away the garbage, leaving rainbows after rain. If you got poetry books there at home that you don't want anymore and you want them to go to a good place, well, you can drop them off or send them here to 144 Bradley Street, and they would be really appreciated and preserved in perpetuity for poetry preserved in perpetuity. There's a lot of alliteration. A lot of alliteration and poetry. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up or a heart thingy or a happy face or a comment, please, and share it. Click on the share now. And I'll see you later. Okay, don't forget to subscribe so you can stay updated for more if you're on YouTube. And check out the website for events coming up. The Gyra Poets Breakfast for the Gyra Trout Festival on the 9th of October, featuring Paddy O'Brien. Poets are welcome to come along and do their poetry all morning as well. And then on the 7th of October, we've got the Big Hairy Bush Dance Band all the way from Armidale coming up here for our Gyra opening night of the Trout Festival Bush Dance. Hey, I'm Thundercloud, washing away the garbage, leaving rainbow after rain. Everybody knows Mum calls me... What does she call me again? See you later.